Hello. In this video, I will be explaining how to use the Trigger State Updater feature in WeakAuras. This feature was released during the 7.0 Legion beta, and it can be used to create multiple instances or states of an aura. So, for example, what we're going to be doing here is I have a Demonology Warlock here on beta, and what I want to do is track every instance of a demon that I summon through the spells I cast. So I got Called Dreadstalkers, which summons 2 Dreadstalkers, and I even took the talent for Improved Dreadstalkers. As far as I know, Impending Doom is probably better on multi-target, and maybe this on single. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter for our case. I just wanted this to make more demons right now. And I also got we also got Hand of Gul'dan, which will summon 1 imp for every soul shard we use, up to 4. And then we also have Felguard for Grimoire, our normal pet Felguard, which I do not want to track, and summon Doomguard. Alright, so how do we get started? Open up the WeakAuras options. We're going to do a progress bar for each and every single one. So new, summon, what is it? They're demons. Summon demons, right? We're going to take the bar, move it over a little bit, make it bigger just so we can see what we're working with. You can change it however you like later. And then we're also going to make a new dynamic group. And this is going to be summon demon group. Right? We're going to put that in our dynamic group. Now, it's important that it's a dynamic group, because dynamic group is what will make the auto-cloning feature work correctly. Alright, so now it moved it over here, so I guess I gotta move back. Cool. Next thing, we're gonna do some custom coding, because that's what this is all about. Now, personally, I am terrible at spelling. Don't ask me how I'm a programmer, but if I misspell things, give me a second, I'll fix it. Combat log event unfiltered. This is going to be our event that we're going to be tracking. You can do this for any event, just like any normal script. So if you're, this is going to be assuming that you know a lot of custom coding, because this will be the same exact thing you do in any other custom code. It's just you have different variables you're working with and how things are accessed. Alright, so we're going to make a new function. Function at that end, right? Now inside of here, the things that are automatically passed through are going to be all states, and then just like normal events. And then ... is an ellipsis, everything else that comes afterwards. The reason I like to use ... is I go to the Wowpedia site on combat log event, and it's easy for me to like read what number argument that those events are. So let me pull it up real quick just to make sure I know what I'm looking at. Over here, and combat log event. Cool. Now, what we're looking for, if event equals combat log event unfiltered, then without a W, and great. Now that we know we have this event, now for this case, since I only have one event, I don't technically need this, but personally, it's just a consistency and a kind of a habit kind of thing. Just make sure we're where we think we are and where we're supposed to be. So local, this is going to be timestamp, then event, then hidecaster, which you don't use, and then source GUID, and that's going to equal to ... Alright, another thing I like to do is local timestamp is equal to get time. This really won't make a difference where you call it, but I like to call it at the top of the script, just so like, okay, this is the earliest iteration I know of this event. because I mean microseconds pass when you're trying to go through each thing like this, and I don't know, every little bit counts. I mean, in my mind. Local. Another event we're going to be counting for is dest GUID and dest name, and that's going to be at, based on the wiki page, select 8 of ... Alright, cool. Next thing we want to know is probably spell ID. Local spell ID equals spell ID is at 12th parameter, select 12 ... or 0. So if it's nil, make it 0. Right? Cool. Now, if sub event is equal to spell summon. Wow, come on. Spell summon and source GUID is equal to. Now, I haven't done this yet. We're gonna go do this now, but I like to do a one-time call in the initialization of my own GUID, the player's GUID. So rnf.player, then end. Now these are all the things we're gonna do for a summon event. Cool. Now I want to print. We're gonna print everything. So basically, every time I summon something, that's what we're gonna use. Done. Actions, custom, on init. Basically, aura nf.player is going to equal unit GUID of the player. There we go. So basically, this is going to be called at the start of the aura every time you like load into the game or something, or the aura gets initialized. Basically, open and close the options. It's going to call GUID of you, so we know who we are, and GUID never changes. So now, okay, now this should work. So basically, we're gonna take summon demon for the Doom Guard, right? It didn't print. That sucks. Why didn't it print? Oh, wait, no. I didn't have to return true. I can do that later. Go away, Doom Guard. We're gonna have to check you later. Okay, cancel, dismiss. Okay, what happened here? Spell summon. Oh, I called it event instead of sub-event. Whoops. Sub-event. Cool. Well, thankfully I already copied down what I needed off of that, but I'll show you later. Make sure this word wraps so I can read it on this side. Cool. Another thing we're going to do here is this grimoire. There we go. This is the spell ID we need, which is the same as it is here. And every time we summon something, there we go, we get pet. Now, we want to ignore all these pets because we don't want a new bar coming up every single time we summon one of these pets, because they're always going to be up. Albeit we can, we can give it a 12-second timer or 1-second timer and it'll be gone. But it's like, what's the point of even making a new bar for a pet that's going to be up all the time? So I got all these spell IDs for each one of these, and I made a table. This is basically what it's going to be. Okay. Rn of ignore. 0 equals false. That means if the spell ID is 0, then we don't ignore it. So I call this ignore. It's basically, this is the stuff we want to do. Do we want to ignore it or not ignore it on these spell IDs? So 0 is just a catch-all kind of statement. It's only going to be ever 0 if the event didn't have a spell ID, which there's a lot of those. But this is Felguard, then there's Succubus and Hunter, you know, whatever. Those are all those. So now if it's true in there, that means we ignore it. That's what's going to happen. So basically in trigger, and aura nf dot ignore at spell ID. And then this is going to be not. So if not true, then it won't do it. It's false. If not false, it'll be true. That means it'll do it. So let's see if that actually works. Okay. So basically I dismiss my pet. Get a demon bolt. Okay. Voidwalker. Let's see if it prints. Nope. It doesn't print. Get another soul shard. Let's get the Felguard. No printing. Let's call the Grimoire. Oh look, it does it. That's cool. One more time with the... Actually, I don't want to do Doomguard because it's going to last forever. And I need to get into the options. But yeah, it prints on stuff that's not the normal summons. And we don't care about these. We only care about the stuff that we summon with our other spells. This guy is always going to be there, and we can count on him to be there. According to some other warlocks, you can probably ask them, and they say, like, no, you're a piece of crap. Alright, once that goes away, Aura opens, expand text editor. Great. Now we know we're gonna get everything we need here. Alright. So the way this works, all states is gonna be the key factor here. All states holds every state, every bar that we're gonna make here. You can do this with text, you can do this with icons, you can do this with anything on WeakAuras. All states holds information about each bar in a separate table. Alright, so basically what we need to do is we're going to initialize a new table for each individual state. So all states at table index dest GUID. Right? So this is going to be our unique identifier for each bar. So whenever we have a new destination GUID, it's going to make a new bar. And if it has the same destination GUID, which in these cases it shouldn't ever be the same, in very rare cases it'll ever be the same, but for what we care about, it's not going to matter if they are the same. It's just going to overwrite the old bar with new information, right? And these only last 12 seconds, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so now we're going to do all states at DeskGUID equals all states or a table. So if this doesn't exist, then we make a table. If it does exist, keep it with what it has. And this is just an error checking. Error checking. It's basically all that does is make a table if it doesn't already have one. All right. So the next thing we want to do is make a local state. You don't really have to do this, but this makes it easier to write the code later, so you don't have to keep typing all states at deskguid dot. Instead, you can just do state dot whatever, which I'll get into later. Another thing you might want to do is all of these demons have a 12-second duration, except for these two: the the Grimoire and the Summon Doomguard. Alright, now if I open the spellbook and I have the Grimoire, all these are for 25 seconds. Now, you might want to go and make a new table for each one of these. Do something similar like I did, but for the purpose of this video, I'm only going to concern myself with the Felguard for the Grimoire, because it for me it just doesn't matter right now. I mean, I think for the most part, most people only use this, and you would never use these in like a raid situation. So we're just going to count for that one. So first of all, we're going to save the duration. So local duration is equal to 25? No, 12. 12 seconds. Now, if the spell ID is equal to whatever this Felguard is 111898, or spell ID is equal to, we had the Doomguard earlier, which I have it written down, so I'll just use it here. It's this one. For some reason, it's not the same as this. It's a different one. Last time I tried it, it didn't work. So here we go. Can I close all this, please? There we go. Now that's Felguard and the Doom Lord, right? Doom Lord, Doom Guard, same word, whatever. If the spell ID is a Felguard or Doom Lord, duration is going to equal 25 seconds. End. Done. We don't need that end. All right, great. So now we have the duration set. What else do we want to save? Maybe put the icon next to each bar. So local. When I looked up you're gonna look up the icon with get spell info. So if I go on WoW programming, get spell info, click, okay, get spell info here. So it's basically gonna be this. Name rank. We don't care about this. We only care about the icon really. So this is gonna be underscore. This is gonna be an underscore. Local. Make sure to put a comma. Cool. Icon. Now we have the icon of the spell ID. Cool. Icon. Do we care about name? Name of the spell ID is usually always a spell that summoned the thing, so no, we don't want that. Name is going to be, the name of the unit we want is going to be in name is equal to dest name. I mean, I don't really have to do this, and this is probably redundant. We don't need that. Screw it. Alright, cool. Now, to start actually making these bars, so first of all, we're going to do return true. Return true. And what that's going to do is, it's just like normal. It's going to show the bar. Alright? It means we want to show information. Or we want to tell weak auras, hey, we have stuff to show. We want to trigger. Alright, so what do we do? Now that you have this all states at dest GUID, and we saved it as a state, so now just state dot what name. The name is going to be dest name, and this name is saved by %n, just like a normal weak aura. All right, so what's another thing? Name state dot icon equals icon from up there. State dot duration is equal to duration. I'm looking at a Soul FG weak aura I had made. It gives me I have a bunch of examples there for me. I can link it in the description as well, and I will link also the wiki for this specific the trigger state updater, so that you can look at some other examples of what you can use for this part here. Basically, you can even do whatever you want, like state dot spell ID. That's not something WeakAura cares about. That's not something WeakAura is going to look into. But we can save spell ID in there. Who cares? Sure, we can use it later if we want to use it for some reason, or if we want to use it in some other like function, like the animation function or the display. We can use it there. It's there for us to use. Another thing that WeakAura looks for is progress type. So state dot progress type is equal to, there's two progress types. There's timed and there's static. So in our case, we want timed, right? And what else does duration info usually want for a normal WeakAura? State dot expiration time is equal to what? Timestamp plus duration. Timestamp is basically get time, so right now plus the duration is time in the future of when it will end, right? Alright, so next thing, what else does it need? We want the bars to go away, so we set state dot auto hide is equal to true. That's something that WeakAura will look for. Let's see, changed. State dot changed equals changed equals true. So that means weak auras will look at it and be like, hey, something changed in the state. We should probably update the aura with the changed information. State.show equals true. Show means show the bar. This all this stuff, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. It won't know anything until it hits return true. Once return true happens, it will take all this information into account at the same time, because it's all part of a table. Or not even at the same time, really. It'll do in whatever order weak auras does internally, so it just doesn't matter. Let's see. Is there anything else that we care about? There's a couple other things probably on the wiki, but for our purposes, we just care about this. Alright, great. We're done with this. So let's try it. What's it gonna do? Should make a bar for every demon we summon. 2 imps with 2 shards. Oh, look at that. 2 imps. 4 bars, because call Dreadstalkers with the imps. Oh, there we go. They all look like Dreadstalkers, but 2 of them are imps. Yep, 2 of them are imps. It takes the icon from the spell ID, which was this in this case. For some reason, it doesn't show Hand of Gul'dan, because I guess the imps are their own spell ID. Odd. Anyway, let's start with the Doomguard. Oh, cool, Doomguard, 25 seconds. That check worked. And then for this Felguard, 25 seconds as well. Perfect. Alright, let's open the options again once we're out of combat. So, as you can see, like, we already did all kinds of different things with it. We are showing every single demon we already summoned based on the combat log events of spell summon. And we even did 2 different duration types based on if it was this spell ID or that spell ID. It's the same thing as any other aura you would make, but the only caveat is the state, because it makes it easier in this case because you can just work with one state at a time. Say, okay, so like if the spell ID, this is the only time you have to work with like multiple states in a sense. It's like if the spell ID is this or this, then the duration is different. If not, then the duration is 12. And it's pretty simple after that, because then everything else is the same. It changed. You want to auto hide, you want to show the bar, and this is all the information the bar is going to have. Alright, so now if we go to display, remember how we saved spell ID? What are we going to use spell ID for? You can just add it there. Put it wherever you want. So let's get Dreadstalkers. Oh, there's the spell ID. For some reason, they each have their own spell ID, which is kind of interesting. But nonetheless, there it is. And if we did Hand of Gul'dan, cast 1 imp for 1 slow shard, spell ID for that. Alright, nice. Weak auras. Wait for the combat to end. Combat, please. There we go. Cool. Summon demons. Alright, so you could do custom text if you want, but for the most part, everything you would probably want, unless you need something really custom, really specific, you don't really need custom. But if you need something specific, I'm going to show you in animations how you can access that. It's kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. So animations, custom, duration. We're going to color the bars something different. Alright. If you're using this in the display, the only thing that display expects as a return is a string. So as long as you return a string or a number for it to display, you're good. Here, animation's going to expect red, blue, green, and alpha. Alright, so let's see. Function. If I can spell correctly, yes I did. And cool. So now, looking at my soul effigy, weak aura, I got this information from Infuse, makes it a lot easier. So, weak auras will pass in each and every display, each and every state that we make. So every time we make a new state, it's going to pass it to animations, and if animations has information for it, it'll return animation. So for this color, we're going to color each bar depending on like a specific whatever what a specific demon, like the Dread Stalkers and the Imps, right? So what we want to do, sorry, is going to be if, first of all, we want to do some error checking. So whenever we have the options open, there are no states. So whenever we have the option open, there's going to be errors if we try to capture it. So what the states are stored in aura and ev.state. All right, and that is the same as all states. That is a table that has the information that we want, but it's the table at all states. It's all states at desc.GUID in this case. So if you do like states.spellID, then we can get the spell ID that comes out. So basically what we're gonna do here, if what's the thing? Oh yeah, if aura and ev.states or .state doesn't exist, so not. If not, and aura and ev.state.spellID. So what this is gonna do, and we want to give it a red color. So return red, RGB alpha. So basically, if not, this is also going to be a not. If not aura and ev.state, that means if there's no state, we're going to return this. This is not going to be an and, this should be an or. Or. So if there's no state, make it red. Which, I mean, for the most part, if there's no state, then you're probably not hiding the bars automatically. And when the bars automatically get hidden, weak auras gets rid of the state. It cleans up after itself. So this should only really happen when you have the options open. The other thing is going to be if not spell ID. So that if there is a state, but for some reason there's not a spell ID, then there's something wrong, because we over here in the other code, in the trigger code, we stated that there was a spell ID, and the spell ID should at least be 0 if there isn't one. But it shouldn't get it. This event has spell IDs, so if we got into this, then there's a spell ID. So it should never really turn red. This is just kind of an error thing in case something happens. Next thing is going to be if we want to do it based on demon. So if aura nf.state.name is equal to wild imps, not imps, imp, then end. Now, normally I would never use this like this, because it's different across different clients, like language clients. So if like a Russian would use this aura now like this, this part wouldn't work for them, because wild imps, they're not called wild imps on a Russian client. So normally you'd use get spell info, you'd find the spell ID for anything that's called wild imps, and just get the name of it like that, and then just compare that instead, because get spell info will get the localized name. But I don't know the spell ID, I haven't looked it up yet. But that's basically the idea, is use get spell info with the spell ID, so that you can get a localized version of that name to compare it with. Alright, so if it's wild imp, we're going to return blue. Let's make it blue. So red, RGB, green, blue, oops, not G, 0, blue, alpha. Cool. Else if aura nf.state.name is equal to Dread Stalker. Same thing, make sure you localize your names. Like, unless you know no one else is going to be using your aura, localize your names so other people can use them if they're not English speakers. Return. Let's make Dread Stalkers green. So red, green, blue, and alpha. Right. Okay. And anything else we're not going to return anything, so I think it's going to be black in that case. Do this. Okay. Get some demon bolts out. Let's go to 5. Call some Dreadstalkers. Oh, didn't happen. Oh, because I have a... I think I missed my then syntax error. Let's wait for the options to open. Here we go. Animation. Yeah, I have syntax error. I didn't put... Oops, it says double equal, not single equal. Compare, not initialize. That was a problem. Alright. Let's get 5 again. Call Dreadstalkers. Cool. Green now. Dreadstalkers, Walled Imps. And then get 4. Call 4 Imps. They should all be blue. Nice. Now, what if it's not a Dreadstalker or an Orm? What if it's the Felguard? Felguard is black. We didn't assign it a color. It just, the default is nothing, I guess. And I call this 2 nothing. Okay. So everything works as expected. So now we want to also do something about well, if it's not an Imp or a Doomguard, what should we do? Hello again. My video crashed. I ran out of space on my other hard drive, so I'm just gonna kind of pick up the little bit that I had left. Basically, we were at animations, and I was writing in Dreadstalker. So basically, when the name is Walled Imp or Dreadstalker, we're gonna just give it a different color. And like I said before, also to remember, this is only on the English client. So someone on a different language client, like Russian, German, French, whatever, tries to use this, it won't work for them because they're not called the same thing. So try to find the spell IDs for stuff like this, and make sure you get the localized name using get spell info. Now, later on in the video, as I kept going, I wanted to also set, if the timer was less than 4 seconds left, we're going to return a different color. And this is just a random number I picked. It has no meaning for me. Just make sure that these numbers are between 0 and 1, so you get it. And then this else, if it's not one of these things, so basically if it's going to be the Felguard or Doomguard, return this other color. Alright, so let's give it a test. Let's get 5 Demon Bolts. Dreadstalkers. 1 more Demon Bolt. Cool. These are the Imps, these are the Dreadstalkers. All these Imps have this color. And I've got 2 more Soul Shards. Call it Felguard has a different color, and Doomguard has a different color, and then they go different colors below 4 seconds. So I'll go over the code a little bit more on how I did the coloring for the timer. So basically look under 4 seconds. Different color. Different color. Just gotta wait a little bit on combat so we can go into options. Let's see. Now basically, since in trigger we stored the expiration time. Expiration time is the timestamp plus the duration. It's now and then plus a duration in the future. So animations, we're gonna do the same thing as like, okay, so if the time in the future minus now is less than 4 seconds, we're gonna return that color. That's basically what it is. And otherwise, we'll do other stuff. So if it's a Walled Imp, we'll just do this. If it's a Dreadstalker, we'll do this. You can even add some logic here. If it's less than 4 seconds and it's a Walled Imp, I want this color, or stuff like that. If it's nothing we know about, this color. If it doesn't exist, make it red. That's not. I mean, that should never happen. I explained that already. All right. And again, you can do the same thing. You do Control C or Control C. It's a %C. Do some custom display text for whatever you want. It's really up to you at that point. The main difference with Trigger State Updater is going to be this part right here. We're doing all states at at the GUID that we're looking at, and then we're changing the information. This is all the information that's being saved into these IDs. at these states. This is the state that we're looking at, the state of this ID, and that ID is going to have this information. All right, and that's basically all there is to it. Now, for an on init, another thing you could do with the on init is if you wanted to add more information. So here's an example for my soul effigy. Oops. This is an example. So if I had unstable affliction, this is the spell ID for unstable affliction. Right? So do the same thing you did there. But instead of making it just true or false, we'll add another table. And this table is going to contain the name of the spell, which is this is a localized name of the spell. This is the icon of the spell. This is duration of the spell. This is some math because this one has like a lower duration whenever you have more haste. This is the red, green, and blue color for the bar that I want it to color. And if we were in states, like if we were in animations here for the state, you could do just return what aura env dot state dot r and then dot g and then dot blue. Do the same red, green, blue. Do the same thing you would do over here, state and then alpha. That's not going to work here because I don't have it saved correctly. But that's all you would do. And I'm going to link the wiki to the RNF trigger, so it gives you a little bit more information, maybe a little bit more insight on how to use these things. I'm going to link my Soul Effigy weak aura that I made. I'll link another example weak aura that a friend of mine in the Discord channel, Hamsta, had made. I'll link the Discord. I'll link everything you need, all the resources. If you want to pop into our Discord, ask some questions. There's always people there willing to help in all hours of the day. We're all across the globe, and we love to use this add-on. We love to code in WoW, and we're always willing to help. All right, have a good day.